Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Monday. Yeah, Monday. And all of our guests today, including Jamie McLennan, Noodles, standing by, sponsored by Passan Motors. Passan Motors helping you dine in or dine out all February with a $500 gift card with your next vehicle purchase. Also, they're taking away the GST. Learn more at Passan Motors, BASANT Motors.com. As we bring in Jamie McLennan from TSN, as we do every second Monday. Jamie, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you guys doing today?
Very good. Very well, very well. Goaltending, a thing you know a thing or two about. Were you as surprised as everybody else at what Jordan Binnington was up to at the Four Nations?
I want to say yes and no. I mean, in the back of my mind, I was hoping, and I'd said this to everybody that would listen, I was hoping Canada, the goaltending would not be a focal point. So where it was just like, hey, they won and nothing to see here. Even if they won 6-5, it's just like I was worried that they were going to lose. And then the headlines were going to be crease crisis in Canada. What's going on with Canadian goaltending? Well, we've at least bought one more year till the Olympics start. And maybe some good young goaltenders will continue to push through. But I will say this, if there's a clutch gene, Jordan Binnington has it. We saw it in the Stanley Cup final in Game 7 in Boston. And we saw it the other night against Team USA. 2-3 massive saves in overtime are the difference. And you can argue about goals throughout the round robin or whatever you call it. I thought he allowed at least one bad goal per game that were maybe game-changing or at least you would have wanted back. But when the chips were down, he made an unbelievable save on Matthews off the draw. He made the one on the back door with Tkachuk. Sure. I mean, these are 10-bell saves. Those are what legends are made of. So, if you're concerned about Canadian goaltending, I mean, you could still be concerned, but, he got it done again. That's twice now. So it's at least showing that he can play on the biggest stage and have success.
I know you've talked about this goaltender a lot when it comes to the Vancouver market, Jamie, but there's another chapter to the story. Kevin Lankinen has himself a new 5-year contract with the Canucks. Can you understand what they were thinking?
Well, yes, stability. That's what comes to mind. I don't know how you guys weigh in on it, but it's just you need somebody that, knock on wood, can stay healthy and give you an opportunity every night. Lankinen has done that. Unfortunately, you guys know what I think of Thatcher Demko. I say it on the show every 2 weeks. Love him to death, but the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available when this team has really been in one. So Lankinen, I think it's the market, it's the marketplace. You need some stability there. I think Sheloffs has an opportunity to be a very good goaltender, but that being said, you need guys to be available to play. So. If that's the going rate, that's the going rate. You get Lankinen locked up. And keep in mind, it didn't break the bank, so it's not a scenario where if things do go south or you get a healthy Thatcher Demko, that's not a bad tandem to have if Sheloffs needs to continue to grow, or it makes somebody attractive that they're on term and you can move them. So there's lots of, for me, there's still options there, put it that way.
All right, Jamie, let's talk a little bit about the Oilers. 13 goals against on the weekend. Okay, Skinner gives up 6 in Philly. Pickard gives up 7 last night in Washington. What's going on there? Are they going to have to get a goalie before the playoffs?
I think they've always needed a goaltender, and that's not an indictment on Stuart Skinner or Calvin Pickard. But if you remember when they signed Jack Campbell, Calvin Pickard was signed as their third goaltender. They moved Campbell out. Pickard takes over as the number 2. They have no depth. Rodrigue is their third goaltender. Yep. He's a nice young goaltender. I think he's had some success at the AHL level, but he's not an NHL everyday goaltender right now unless he proves it. So this is a team that has aspirations of winning a Stanley Cup. If Stuart Skinner, who's been wildly inconsistent this season, if he tweaks a groin, if he hurts his knee, if something happens, you're with Pickard and you're with Rodrigue trying to win a Stanley Cup. So they're always going to be looking for a goaltender. It's just the magnitude of who. And what I mean by that, are you looking for a 3? Are you looking for a 2? Or are you looking for a 1A, 1B, somebody who's going to push Skinner? I think there's all different scenarios on the table. But as we know, in the trade market, there's managers that'll say, yeah, I can help you out there, but for this player, for that. What is the cost? What does that player have term? Everyone's talking about John Gibson in Edmonton. I think he's got 3 years left at like 6.4. So how you can fit into that cap structure and overspend in net? And there's no guarantee. I mean, I believe he got hurt 2 nights ago again. That's a guy who's had injury issues. So I think they'll be nibbling around the edges and looking for somebody who can be a safety valve. I live in Toronto, so I know, the Toronto Maple Leafs have Matt Murray, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, in the minors if they need somebody, a phone call away. I think Edmonton will be shopping. Detroit has a lot of goaltenders. I think Arizona, Utah might have one available. I think there are some goaltenders that are available. They may not just be marquee guys that are going to come in and take Stuart Skinner's job. I kind of feel like they're pot committed on Skinner. They just need him to play a lot better, including the team in front of him. You can't lay all of that at his feet. He had 3 breakaways and a 2-2-on-0s in that 6-3 loss. So the Oilers were completely out to lunch. I watched both games, and that team's still laying on a beach somewhere. They're not ready to play yet.
Jamie, watching Ovechkin last night, so much fun. He got the hat trick. I think Pickard was the 181st goalie he has scored a goal on in the NHL. He's 39 years old, 13 away from Gretzky's record. How fun is this, watching him nightly? It's
great. And, I like talking hockey. There's politics all involved with him, Gretzky, him, Rush, all of that type of stuff. I'm not even focusing on that. I think this is amazing for hockey. I hope he does it. I hope he does it this year. If it's like 1 goal short, it'll be so annoying. Sadly, I don't know if it's a badge of honor. I know I'm on that list. He did get me once in his rookie year, but keep in mind I only played against him once, so I think that number would be a lot higher if he had multiple games. But you know what? He's a fantastic player. The scary thing is that goal that you guys are just showing right now. The whole world knows he's shooting from there. Yeah. The whole world, including Calvin Pickard. And you watch him, he pushes across, he over pushes on this one, think he's going to go short side, and ends up going glove side. I mean, that happens. Yeah, a lot of times, I remember having pre-scouts with Mika Kiprasov when I was his goalie coach. And, Steven Stamkos set over there. Alex Ovechkin set up over there. And you go, okay, this is where they're shooting from. This is the hot spots where they like to pick. And I believe that night Stamkos got 2, and Kipper and I were sitting beside each other on the plane, and I said, we pre-scouted him. He goes, Jamie, I was there. He just beat me. Sometimes these guys, you have to tip their cap because they're great goal scorers. They're great players. But it is neat. I think it's good for the league to have this watch. I mean, because I think it's realistic that Ovi can get this done.
13 away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. Very, very quickly, Jamie, if you don't mind, 25 seconds or less. Is there a relation between the Capitals with 2 lopsided victories on the weekend, very impressive, and the fact they had no players at the Four Nations, well rested?
Yeah, and they hit the ground running. It could be a scenario where they came back and had some captain practices and just felt really good. I'll tell you what, that team, there's no weaknesses. Great goaltending, deep D, and 4 lines that can play. They're big, they're mean, they're fast, and Ovi's chasing something. They're playing for something. They are a serious team. So, nobody's at the Four Nations, but boy, they're at the top of the league, and it looks impressive.
So are you. Thanks for this, Jamie. I appreciate it. Talk to you in a couple of weeks.
You bet. Thanks for having me, guys.
You bet.